Hi my beauties, welcome to Abuelas Crafts. Thank you for joining me today. If you're new here, my name is Lou. If you're returning, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I hope you enjoy, so let's get crafting. So I have some Dollar Tree cups, 2 of them. There's some dowels that I got at Walmart. These are little feet, or rather little decorations that come off a wood frame. And here are my 3 frames. 3 different sizes, the 5x7, 8x11, and the 11x16. And the wood plaques that I'm using in between them. So I have my manual shears that I got on Amazon, my paintbrushes, my scissors and my tape at Walmart, the E6000 at Walmart, the Parisian glue that I brought from Mexico. I have my glue gun. There's the rose gold by Plaid, the satin heirloom white by Rust-Oleum, my varnish, and that cotton rope, and my sanding block. Now I start off by kind of knocking down some of that varnish that some of these frames have, because these are previous paintings that I did, and they have the polyurethane on it. So my first frame, the smaller one, now these are frames that I had lying around. So I got them together. On this little one that had those little staples that keep the picture in the frame, I took those out. And then I used E6000 on that little inside frame. Alongside with some glue to keep it put. That long and short term glues to keep it from falling out. I wanted a permanent, really permanent stay on that. So that's my first frame. I did this with all 3 frames. The first one was wood. This one is a little plasticky. Again with the glue, with the E6000, and then alongside the oh my goodness, the glue gun. I tried taking off those little glue dots, but those are really glued in there. Now, to give it some extra, I don't know, decoration to the frames, I used some wood dowels. I had some 8mm and 6mm. I did it on all 3 of them because a couple of the frames, and I believe it's more the larger frame, had a big gap between the wood and the frame. So this way, if I used it on all of them, they had a uniformity to all of the frames, and it actually worked out. So it was really good. And once I had the size for one, then I could cut the other side with that same side. And I wasn't worried about the the cup being perfect simply because I could take the sanding block to not only give it a softer edge, but to actually break, kind of make it fit, sanding it some of it down. It actually worked that way. So I did that to all three. Then I braided some cotton thread together to further decorate the top frame and the bottom frame, because they did not have the I was gonna say decoration, but it's not decoration. There's another word I'm looking for that the middle frame has. The middle frame has more texture on it, so I figure if I used the cotton to give it a little bit more texture on the bottom and the top frame, I'd give it a little bit more, that much more uniformity along the tier tray. And so that's what I did. I did a bunch of braids for each side of the frames on both the top and the bottom one. Glued them down with that Parisian glue that I got in Mexico. I love this stuff. There you go. Yeah, it didn't come out perfect. I didn't want it perfect. That was not the intention of all of this. It was just to give it a little bit more decoration on the frame itself. Every once in a while, I would put a little bit of glue at the edge, only to keep it. It was glued down, but I wanted it to stay put and not lift. Especially since this was going to be spray painted. Now I measured more or less where I wanted the cup to go, and these are heavy duty cups. For being $1, oh my gosh, these are beautiful. I did the same between the middle frame and the top frame. Used EP.16 along all of this. I wanted these frames to stay put. Now I had my son hold the top one while I brought the other one in, put glue on the cup, and then set that down. The top to set that down on top of that. Let that dry. I then took the little feet, sanded a little bit so that it would have not only a smooth but a straight edge to when it was glued down. And make sure where I wanted it in the first place. And the best measuring tool I have is my fingers. Now I used the heirloom white from Carlon on up and down, inside, upside my tier tray. Then I used the rose gold from Plaid on alongside the edge there of each frame. and it gave it such a I guess you would call it shabby chic. Yeah, a shabby chic kind of look. Antique kind of. Well, it's gonna look more antique here in a moment. And then I took some antique wax and rubbed it ever so lightly alongside the edges of each frame, alongside the corners of each frame. I used it also on the inside, and it transformed it from being crisp, even though it was a white, but really crisp, to what looked like an antique piece. Because when you put that wax alongside the edges, especially in the corners, see, it just, oh, I love this piece. I do. I know I say that all the time, but I love this piece. It came out so pretty. It blends well with all my decorations. And although those are cups, you really don't look at them as cups. It looks really pretty. I love it. So I got these little mini picture frame, and I used this particular paper because of the colors. It has the pinky white, that aqua blue, and it has like a purpley, like very light lilac color. So I cut one for each one of the frames, as you see that. Isn't that beautiful? Now, and then I took them out, went outside, and painted the frame that rose gold from Krylon Fusion all in one. I'm sorry. That was bought at Walmart. And it just painted the whole frame. It came out so pretty, and it wasn't shiny. That's what I didn't know, was the shiny. Now I went back to the Dollar Tree while all that was drying up and found this little sticker book. I loved it. There's so much stuff in there. If you're a journal keeper, then this would give you some pizzazz in your journal. Or if you're doing a scrapbook or a picture album. So I put one on each one. You are much stronger than you think. And the other one has brave. And the other one has think happy, be happy. All something that I love, each one of them. Then I went ahead and put them in my frames. That's all I did. Easy peasy. Really easy. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that cute? Oh, I love it. So I took some antique wax, put it on one of the laps, and then took some of that seafoam color and put it on the other lap. Here goes the seafoam color. Took some of that antique wax and kind of dried it off a little bit with the paper towel and glued the two together. So it's a little thicker and it looks like there's a shadow behind it. Now, on my third one is my vintage decor book, and I'm sorry if you don't like tearing up the books, and don't watch this. These are old paperbacks that we had in a bag when my husband worked with a company that took in, like, I don't know, stuff from other people that they didn't want, and these are the books that were in there. And so I've had these books for a while. I just didn't know what to do with them until I saw several YouTubers use it. Use books, old books, not necessarily antique books, but I don't think I would be able to do that on an antique book. But old books or books from Dollar Tree, and make them look amazing. I like the way this worked out, but well, I've seen some that do some beautiful books. Now I decided to cut like white strips for the spine of the books, only because the yellow one, the spine didn't all come out, so I didn't want to paint over it, and since it's waxy, it might not take the color. So I decided just cover it, and I covered all of them in the white cardstock, and then I put that same color cardstock that I used on the frames on both the bottom and the top of the book. So it had a more cohesive look to it. So as you can see, there's the yellow one really stands out, doesn't it? So as I'm gluing them together, I make sure that one side of it, like the spine, is all in the same level. I didn't worry about the other side of it. And then it occurred to me, okay, so how can I put them all in the same color? And you know how those old fancy books, they have that gold on the pages on the side, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. I can do that. So that's where this came from. This is the idea that I had. And as I'm doing it, the pages are curling as if they were old. And this is because the water of the paint. So then I took some ribbon, the lace ribbon in beige, a lace ribbon in that seafoam color, a see-through, I guess you would see like a satiny lace, satiny ribbon, but it's sheer. And I didn't make a bow or anything, just put it all together, made them all about the same size, and then angled the cut on them. You could see the lace, the beige lace, the seafoam lace, and then the sheer ribbon. And then I took some paint, and to disguise the spine of it somehow, I put imagine, create, dream on the sides, and then decided to use some flowers. I used pansies. I love pansies. It's one of my favorite colors. And I was going to use that cattail that I put there, that pink cattail, but I didn't like the way it was looking. It looked like it was really sticking out. So what I ended up doing was using 3 different colored, similar colors but different colored pansies on there. It looked really pretty. You'll see at the end. Okay, so I did 2 more, or actually 3 more, but 2 more here. There's the wood round that I decided to paint and Mod Podge, and my beaded garland. First, what I did was cover the holes on the wood round. While that was drying, I decided to paint my beads for the garland. I put them all on the skewer here. These are metal skewers I had laying around, so I'm not sure where these came from, but they're the ones that you use in the hat. They're like hat pins. That's what they are. So I strung them on there, put them in the styrofoam, and painted them. I think it would have been easier for me anyway if I had skewered the skewer into the styrofoam, put the beads on, and then skewered on the other side. That way I could have actually, painted them while they were in there. But I didn't think about it at the end, and at the beginning it ended up being just fine. So while those are drying, I went back to my round, sanded down so that the holes are completely covered, painted it in that seafoam color, my favorite color. But I look purple too. So then I took a napkin, Mod Podged the floral, which has pink and lilac on it, and green, but mostly for the florals that are pinky and lilac-y. I also did that little square at the bottom. All I did was painted it white, the Waverly ivory, and then used green and some rub-ons. So while that round was finishing up drying, I took my beads and made a garland. Now I did use this glue to kind of make the edge hard, but in hindsight I think though this worked and it worked really well, it did take a little bit of time for it to dry, and as it was drying I was trying to work with it so that it would dry. But I think the hot glue would have been a lot easier. So I strung my cross. This is a cross I made out of air dry clay a long time ago. Never got around to using it, so I decided it had a hole in it. I made it for a reason, so let's use it now. And here we are. It even had that rose gold color on there, and the white of the Waverly white that I used on the beads as well. So it worked out beautifully. It goes together with everything I did. Once that was done, I did a tassel with this coppery string. It's a polyester string, a lacy seafoam color that you see there to my left, I'm sorry, and a beige lace. I also used that multicolored nylon string as well, and it came out so beautifully because it went with everything that's on my tier tray. It actually did. It's beautiful. So now in order to attach the cross, all I did was go around a couple of times. I said 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I made a loop, crossed it over, and passed a string through it to make a knot. I do that twice. Made it nice and tight and secure. Cut the string off and put a dot of glue in there, or a couple of dots actually, and let that dry. Now here I'm back on my wood round. My wood round. And I decided to do a rub-on on one side of it. I used the antique wax on the edge of the round. And then I decided to make it double-sided. So on the one side I have the flowers with the word attitude, and on this side I drew a little scene, something you would find, say, at grass level, with little daisies, the ones that grow wild, underneath the rose bush maybe, and then the long leaves. I tried to use my finger because I used a graphite pencil to draw on the lines, and I was trying to use my finger to kind of blur out the lines a little bit, but the lines were becoming too messy, or rather too blurry. You weren't able to see it very well. So I decided to use a brush and kind of just go around the little lines. And then I took this little Dollar Tree flowers. Took the leaves off, cut off the knob, the little nub at the bottom, or underneath it I should say, and glue 3 where I had left the line of the plant empty. I didn't put any flower or leaf or anything, so I decided to and there you are. I think that came out so pretty. And so it wouldn't stand on its own. I mean, it had a string for a reason, right? It's kind of, and then the flowers made it a little bit top heavy, so it wouldn't stand. So I covered 2 or painted 2 of the towering blocks together with the Waverly antique wax, and then glued it as feet at the bottom of the round so that it would stand. And it actually worked. It came out really, really nice. I want to thank all of you who stayed till this time to watch my video. My viewers, thank you. The new viewers, I thank you. I hope you decide to subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell for upcoming videos. Don't forget to like, as that helps my channel grow, and comment. Tell me what you liked or what you didn't like. Tell me what you would have done different. Do you like the colors?